Claire? Claire, where are you? Claire, did you go into my laboratory? Did you touch? Sorry, Father. Claire, what have you done? I told you not to go to the laboratory. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry. Why? Why would you? After the death of her father, Dr. Edmund Harrison, Claire was sent to an orphanage, from where she was adopted by her foster parents. Growing up, Claire has always wanted to become a doctor like her father, but belonging to a foster home, she didn't always have the best of opportunities, but she never gave up on her dreams. As she was her foster parents' only child, they left behind their home as inheritance, and along with what she inherited from her father, Claire was able to fund some of her education and became a nurse. And for the past few years, she has been working at the BII hospital. I can't take the pain. Dr. Murray, the patient in Ward 201, has been complaining of severe pain. Did you give him the medication I prescribed? Which medication? What do you mean, which medication? I clearly told you to give him 600 milligrams of... No, doctor, you must be mistaken. You didn't give me any instructions. I can't believe this. How can you be so irresponsible? I don't even know why the director hires people like you. Where is the senior nurse? But you didn't tell me. I understand what happened. What do you expect from doctors in hospitals like this? I've been waiting 2 days for a proper checkup. He's the one who should suffer and die. Being a nurse was not so easy, especially at the public hospital Claire worked at. Despite doing everything accordingly, sometimes the blame came upon her, as the doctors here liked blaming their misconducts on the nurses. And what made things worse was the patients Claire had to deal with. Some less of a hassle than others, and some who were outright rude and difficult. After a long day at the hospital, Claire was finally returning home. It was 10:15 p.m. The rain was heavy out and the winds were chilly. Claire zipped up her jacket and began walking down the lonely road. She turned around, spotting a man a distance away. He was wearing his hoodie. She couldn't see his face. Ignoring him, Claire continued on her way. But as she turned the curb, she noticed the man follow after her. And when he crossed the same road as she did, Claire started to get a bad feeling. She knew this neighborhood wasn't as great of an area. That's why she always kept her precautions. Clutching onto her pepper spray in her pocket, Claire walked on. She was almost home. But as she reached nearer, she hesitated. She didn't want this guy knowing where she lived. But this time, when she turned to glance at him, she froze, seeing him come her way. The man took out his knife as he sternly told her, "Hand over your bag." Claire immediately pepper sprayed him. And the man fell to the ground, groaning as he held his face. Claire was about to back away when she stopped, seeing his knife on the ground. It was her knife. Claire took a close look at the man's face, suddenly recognizing who he was. "Matthew? You?" Almost 15 years ago, Claire and Matthew were living at the orphanage together. They were good friends, but Matthew was one of the most mischievous kids. He was always doing the most wicked of things, and whenever he would get caught, he would lie. "Matthew, what are you doing with the squirrel?" It's dead. What did you..." "No, Mrs. Merridew. I found it here like this. I didn't do anything to it." Everyone else was inside. "How could you do something like this?" Sometimes the orphanage staff found stray cats or squirrels dead on the property, and sometimes the pet birds or rabbits or turtles in the classroom would suddenly go missing, and everyone knew who was behind it. Matthew became known for his sick games, but he also had his secrets. He had a compulsive habit of stealing. "Why do you have all these things under your bed? Did you steal?" "Shh, finders keepers, losers weepers." And it was one day, Claire's pocket knife, which belonged to her father, got stolen. Claire could never find it, and eventually she got adopted and left the orphanage. But now, after 15 years, she finally knew for sure who took it. "Matthew, you're a mugger now?" As Matthew groaned in pain, he tried to look at her. "What? Claire? What the hell, Claire? You had to spray me? What was I supposed to do? You were about to attack me." Claire took out her water bottle and helped Matthew wash off his eyes. "It burns." "It's not gonna work like this. Come on, we're almost at my place." Claire helped Matthew up and took him to her house. "Sit here. I'll get the first aid." She quickly got some eye drops from the cabinet and brought it to him. "Put it on, it helps numb the pain." After taking the medication, Matthew finally opened his eyes, but they were red and swollen. Claire quickly made him some tea and snacks and sat down while he ate. "Seems like we have a lot to catch up on." "Well, you can probably guess how I'm doing." "So, you chose to turn to a life of crime. At least one of us is doing well. I've been all right." As Claire and Matthew got talking, all of a sudden, Claire got a call from the hospital. "Claire, there's a shortage of staff. We need you right now." "But I just took..." "It's an emergency, Claire." "All right, I'll be there." With a sigh, Claire got up to get her things ready. "Matthew, I have to get going to the hospital." And that's when Matthew held his eyes and crouched in pain. "The pain, it's coming back." "Really? There's ibuprofen if things get worse, but don't overdose yourself. Try to rest. I'll probably be back by morning." "But didn't you just come back from work?" "Yeah, well, this is the life of an on-call nurse. It's a matter of life and death." "All right, see you in the morning then." Matthew pulled up his feet on the couch and laid back, as Claire took her jacket and headed out again. And as soon as the door closed, Matthew jumped up and looked around the house. Nice place. She's done well for herself. He got up and started prying around the living room, checking out everything before he went to her bedroom. A TV, a laptop. What else do you have? Matthew opened up Claire's closet. There were clothes hung up, drawers with her jewelry, paperwork, the usual. As he looked through her bags, he suddenly noticed something on the wall of the closet. It was a doorknob. Why is there a door? It's a door. Fascinated by what he found, Matthew moved everything aside and twisted the door open. Standing in front of a dark room, Matthew searched for the light, and as soon as he turned it on, he was surprised to find himself standing in a laboratory. What is this place? He walked around looking through numerous apparatus and concoctions until he stopped at a showcase. Inside, there were random items arranged, labeled with a note for each one. A pair of glasses. Stuart Wilson, male, age 43, admitted to hospital with viral stomach infection. Patient was a complete nuisance, refused to use urinal or pan in bed out of shame, and repeatedly needed assistance to go to the bathroom. After first dose of D93, patient began experiencing symptoms of poisoning, severe stomach aches, vomiting, diarrhea. After 3 days, health began deteriorating rapidly. What an irony it was. Patient died from loss of control of bowel movements on his bed. A pair of earrings. Linda Bennett, female, age 51, admitted to hospital with pneumonia. Patient had severe attitude issues, constantly shouted and misbehaved for not being able to breathe. All measures were taken. However, patient complained to authority against me. After drug B086 was administered, patient suffered from increased pneumonia. What an irony. Patient died unable to breathe, complain, or shout for help. A handkerchief. Harry Campbell, male, age 66, admitted to hospital with allergic reaction. Patient had stage 4 Parkinson's disease, complained to be unable to feed himself, complained to be unable to swallow food, constantly needed assistance. Patient became a nuisance. After drug G68 was administered, allergic reaction was triggered. Inflammation in the throat closed all air passages. What an irony. Patient could not speak nor eat before his death. A bracelet, a watch, a wallet. As Matthew looked through the showcase, he realized he had discovered something he wasn't supposed to. Just as he was to turn to get out, he heard footsteps by the door. There stood Claire, staring right at him. It was you, all along. Claire grew up observing her father, Dr. Edmund Harrison. He spent much of his time in his laboratory, engrossed in his research. Dr. Harrison had a fascination with medicine and its reaction. He used to conduct various experiments, creating his own medicinal concoctions. He tested them on animals he kept at the laboratory, from rats, rabbits, cats, of many other creatures. In fact, when patients came for treatment, he prescribed them with his own medications. While success rates were low, oftentimes patients returned with severe side effects, which Dr. Harrison continued to treat through experimentation. Edmund, what you're doing isn't right. You can't just play with people's lives like this. I'm doing a favor to humankind. This needs to be done for proper progress in the field of medicine. No, Edmund, you've gone mad. If you don't stop, I'll have to report you. You disloyal woman. You are going to report me? Claire often saw her mother argue with her father, trying to stop him from what he was doing. But her father only reacted with rage if anything got in his way. Things went on like this in the household. Until one day, her mother fell ill. And as the days passed, her health only worsened. Claire realized her father could never continue his experiments if her mother were alive. So she slow poisoned her mother and staged everything as if it was a sickness. What was she supposed to do? Her mother was coming in the way of her father's experiments. Despite not being allowed to go to her father's laboratory, Claire often secretly observed her father. She slowly caught on to the way he conducted his experiments and created his drugs. And it was one day her father caught her experimenting with his formulas. Claire? Claire, where are you? Claire, did you go into my laboratory? Did you touch? Sorry, Father. Claire, what have you done? I told you not to go to the laboratory. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry. Why? Why would you? She had to do something about her father. After her father's death, when she was taken to the orphanage, Claire continued with her fascination in it. Sometimes on stray cats, squirrels, or the pets at the orphanage. And while she monitored the reaction to the drugs, it was Matthew who took the blame. Why do you always carry that ugly knife? It's my dad's knife. Your dad is weird, and you're weird. No one likes you, why don't you just run away? And finally, when the time called for it, Claire used her drug on one of the boys at the orphanage who always pestered her. And to her satisfaction, he reacted the same way the animals had. It was a success. Claire continued her research in medicine through the years, pursuing a nursing degree, and eventually began working at the hospital. She got a golden opportunity to conduct her experiments on the patients she despised the most. She not only recorded her data, but kept a souvenir to remember them by. It was you all along. Knowing some secrets can take your life. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.